you can correct me if I'm wrong in a sec. I'd say get a half Corona, which is similar to what I'm sort of smoking today, which will probably take you half an hour, 45 minutes max, maybe. And then also get a Robusto.
Sure.
2 classic sizes. You can't go wrong. The person serving you won't look at you going out. They'll know exactly what you're talking about. Half Corona and a Robusto. And I'd get one of them mild, one of them medium. And then if you like them both, get stronger and longer.
Yeah.
On the second shopping trip.
For sure.
That's what I'd say.
Okay.
What would you say?
I would say, I don't disagree. That is definitely a really good way of doing it. I went about it differently. So I went online, didn't go into a shop, and I bought like a international sampler.
Good shout.
Which are all really small cigars. In fact, this is one. This is one of the reasons why I got this one, is because I wanted to talk about it. Where it comes with like 8 different cigars. They're all small. They're only going to take you 10 to 30 minutes each to smoke. But each one gives you a little description of what it's made of, where it's from, and it can give you like a really good idea of what you like and what you don't like. And then at that point, you can start shelling out a little bit more. Because even a Robusto, a Nicaraguan Robusto, is still going to be a few quid.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, that was really helpful. And what I did as well is I would just, every few nights, just go out the back garden, just chill, put a YouTube video on or something, and smoke it. And I'd YouTube like a review.
Crack open a tin of Roosters Brewing Co. Yankee Pale Ale, because that will go fantastically.
It would. This
Especially
is actually
with your milder cigars.
Totally right. I can't agree more. And if you can, YouTube the name of the cigar you're smoking, and there'll probably be someone reviewing it. And if you're getting into it this deeply, like, obviously, guys, you don't need to do this. Like, this is a little bit like I'm nerding out here a bit, but and just try and see if you can taste what they're saying.
Yeah.
Just like a whiskey or a beer or whatever, you do the same thing. It's surprising how similar the hobby is.
Yeah.
To those things, like, because you can pick out these crazy flavors that you would never imagine it. You just think, oh, it just tastes like smoke, but it really doesn't. There are different flavors in that you can get out, which is fantastic. That's what I would do. But I completely agree with you what you're saying. Like getting 2. Are you saying 2 sizes of the same brand, same stick?
Not necessarily. No, probably something different.
Sure.
Probably different brands.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you, dear listener, you can do neither of these things. You can just sit in your beautiful corner office in the city, bark orders at your assistant, and demand pictures of Spider-Man while you're chewing on the end of the cigar. That's absolutely fine as well.
Oh, hell
you
yeah.
can just literally just light and enjoy, you know. But yeah, if you want to like sort of delve into the nuances of cigars and like appreciate the flavors and the strengths and all that sort of stuff, then
100%.
yeah, just it's like all things, like beers, isn't it? It's like try as many as you can.
Yeah, just do whatever. What, like you say, just somehow inspire yourself to get into it. It's something will keep you off. Maybe this podcast, who knows? But just a quick side note: if I were like a character in a World War II film, I'd want to be like the slightly like rotund machine gunner that like has an unlit cigar in his mouth the entire film, never smokes it once.
Nice.
That's who I would
just
want.
Keeping his teeth company.
Yeah, exactly. Or he's already smoked it to the nub, and all he's got is this thing he just like chews on the entire day. That's who I'd want to be. Okay, so
I think we should light him up.
Let's light him up.
Oh, in fact, we need to cut first, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. So well, do we?
Yeah.
Do we, Adam?
There's different schools of thought. I tell you, why don't you take the non-cut method, and I'll cut then light. So Greg's is going to take a little bit longer, so I'll go first.
Absolutely.
Basically, I'm using a double guillotine cutter, right? One of these classic little cutters. I'm sure you've all seen them before. If not, Google it. It's the sort of thing that Dougray Scott uses to chop the little finger off that guy in Mission Impossible 2.
Cool.
So you take that to the foot of this. Is that the foot?
No, the foot's the bit you light.
Oh, okay.
I've
got my ends the wrong way around. You take it to the cap, and you basically just nice little clip on the end. You don't want to take too much, otherwise your cigar will unravel. You can usually see 2 little kind of caps, 2 little bits of tobacco they put on the end. You don't want to chop below the second one, otherwise your cigar will definitely unravel. But yeah, okay. So I've just chopped the end off. Now, obviously, there's room for the smoke to sort of be drawn through the length of the cigar when I'm smoking it, okay? Now I'm going to light. I'm using a trusty Zippo. just because it looks super cool and it sounds super cool.
If it's good enough for what's his face, Christian Bale in that film.
Oh yeah, American Psycho. It's good enough for every movie star ever, basically. And I'm just kind of toasting the end of the cigar, so I'm not trying to like burn the hell out of it, and I'm not getting the flame right touching the tobacco. I'm just sort of like toasting the end, so the flame is slightly off the end of the cigar, and I'm just sort of rotating the cigar in my fingers just so that it's sort of lighting very gently. Basically, it's going to taste better. It's not going to taste all burnt and crappy.
So the general rule of thumb with any sort of tobacco-based product that actually you care about is you want to smoke it as cool as possible. So at no point do you want the cherry or the bit that's actually burning on the cigar. It's the same for pipes. I guess the same for like a nice cigarette. I guess I don't really know, but you want that to be as cool as possible, because the cooler the smoke, the easier it is to pick out flavours and taste it. So that's kind of one of the reasons why you toast it. You don't want to sort of set it like blazing out the gate. You kind of want it to you want to light it, but you also don't want to make it go crazy. Now I've done exactly what Adam's done, but I've done it the opposite way round. I've toasted the cigar, and with the cap still on, and then once that I've toasted it to my liking, I've now cut the cap in the exact same way, just literally in reverse order. The reason I've done that is I don't normally do this all the time. I'll do it on a nice cigar probably, but is when I was getting into the hobby, I watched a video on YouTube, and it was a table of about, I don't know, 10 Cubans, head to toe in like guerrilla warfare, like army kit, Che Guevara like berets on, and talking about how they smoke cigars and how they light them. So I thought, these guys probably know what they're talking about. You know, they've been doing it since they're like 8. So they suggested they basically get 3 long matches. You know, those big like long. You can get them in either barbecue shops or smoking shops. You get 3 of them out. So he said he only needs 3, and you just use the entire match for as long as you can.
Probably got to be indoors for that as well, so that your match doesn't blow out.
Exactly, yeah. Matches outside is definitely an art.
To be fair, you've done it though with 3 matches outside.
I did it with 4, I think. I cheated because he's a small.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
But yeah, and it's it's never done me wrong. Like, it's just such a really nice way. I love that sort of traditional vibe that I got from that way of cutting a cigar. And maybe it's just a bit of gimmick, probably is, but for me it's like another aspect of like the ritual, you know, associated with it.
We're all about the ritual.
That's it.
Oh mate, so we've cut, we've lit, now we're smoking the first sort of the first little quarter, I guess, of the cigar. So mine's a Davidoff. I'm not quite sure which sort of model it is, but I'm guessing it's sort of half Corona or something like that. Yeah,
it's like a Winston Churchill
Winston Churchill special
or something. Yeah,
I'm loving it. It's got a beautiful white band with like golden embossed lettering. Now I'm really sounding like Bale. Yeah. Sounding like Patrick Bateman.
The upside colouring.
Yeah, sort of golden raised lettering. Churchill's golden figure raised. It's a beautiful mild flavour, and I do actually prefer mild smokes. Actually, I've sort of ventured into the sort of medium full-bodied smokes, and I like them for about 10 minutes, and then it just kills me a little bit. I think because I don't smoke cigars that frequently, it's just a bit too strong for me. So I do like a mild to medium smoke, and this is it. Got a lot of flavour, lots of sort of lots of hay, like hay and wheat, grass. That sort of like. You know, I think if I was like cruising through some vineyards, Northern California, somewhere like soft top with a cigar on, this would be what I'd choose.
Sure. Love it.
After having my just under the legal limit of Roosters Brewing Co. Yankee Pale Ale.
We take no responsibility for that, by the way. Yeah. But do it. No, for sure. 100%. I do like a Davidoff. I think I like a cigar that's a bit stronger. I like one that's got like the strength, as in like a nicotine strength,
right?
Because obviously with a cigar, you're not, in theory, inhaling it, although some animals do. Fair play if you can manage that. But it's generally you take the smoke into your mouth and then you taste it and then you blow out. But you still get nicotine through that, right?
Yeah.
Very little, but because it can last so long,
Yeah.
you know, it gets in there. So it's I quite like that, you know, because I'm not a big smoker, so it doesn't take long to sort of get that.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
But yeah, no, that's kind of my go-to generally.
I wonder if mine are what are they called? Masonry bees. I wonder if masonry bees are kind of like mosquitoes in the sense that they avoid cigar smoke.
I hope they're not attracted to it. That's for sure.
Because that's what I like to do when as soon as I get to a hot country. Obviously, loads of mosquitoes. First night, light up a cigar, it keeps the mosquitoes away.
Good excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
That's what I tell the missus.
Yeah, it's for the mosquitoes, love. Yeah, I've got a citronella candle here. No, put that down.
Useless. No tobacco in it whatsoever.
Tastes terrible.
Oh, this is beautiful. The draw's nice and easy as well. Like I don't actually like a stiff draw, which is what sort of Cuban cigars are famed for. You don't get as much smoke as opposed to something like a Dominican, where you get loads of smoke. The draw is quite easy. You know, you've not got to puff that hard before you look like Snoop Dogg. Basically.
Sure. I think there's like a reason. Partly reason for that is a lot more of the sort of slightly cheaper cigars are going to be made by machines.
Yeah.
Which is just going to be more, not perfect, but it's going to be more consistent with its roll. Whereas in a lot of Cuban factories, you've still got, 80-year-old women like rolling it, and like they've been doing it their whole life and they're very good at it.
Yeah, for sure.
There's an art to it, but you're going to have those a little bit more inconsistency there just because it's human error and stuff.
Yeah,
you still get Dominicans and Nicaraguans that hand roll, definitely, but just I think there's less percentage of it. So I think that's partly why you can, when you buy one, especially a cheaper one, you can pretty much rely it's going to be able to smoke quite well. Whereas, there are the odd Cubans where even really expensive Cubans that you have to fight with a little bit just to keep it burning evenly, or like I say, the draw could be a bit dodgy.
At the end of the day, it's a fine handmade product. So occasionally you're going to get, handmade stuff, handmade situations arising, right? It's not a machine most of the time, and that's the fun thing with it, I think, right? They're all different. They're all individual. No two cigars are the same for me.
Exactly, yeah, for sure.
Nice. Have you ever been to a cigar factory?
I've not.
Oh, mate.
That's one of the few things on my list I need to do.
It's so good.
I bet.
I went to a relatively small one. It wasn't a massive producer. To my eternal displeasure now, I can't remember what it was called, but it was quite
Don
a small
Julio,
one.
wasn't it, or something? Or Don something?
I'm gonna edit this in. You'll hear my voice right now saying what it is.
Don Lucas.
But yeah, it was a fantastic experience. And we were in a sort of minibus from the hotel in Dominican Republic, full of like big American dudes and their wives, and they were all like really heavy in the chest, like big thick guys, and their wives like made up to the nines, and it was fantastic to go around a cigar factory with those dudes.
Oh, I love it.
And as soon as you get in there, like the guy doing the tour is like, what do you want? Mild, medium, strong, and he's just giving out the cigars. It's all part of the tour, baby. And obviously they show you the people rolling them at what kind of looks like an old sort of Victorian school desk, where they had place for like the ink pot and your quill and all that crap, but yeah, it's kind of like the little desks that they roll the cigars on. They had these little kind of wooden trays that have like lots of channels in them, where they sort of like roll the tobacco and pop it in the channel and then pop the lid on, and it kind of squashes the tobacco down into this round sort of tubular thing, right? And it's just fantastic because obviously like there's the fans going round in the ceiling and it's hot and you've got the cigar smoke. I mean, it might be a nightmare for some people, but for me it's like it's bliss, you know. And there's like a little like radio on with like Latin music on, like crinkling away in the background. It's fantastic, and then you go to the bar and you get a brandy or a rum or something, and then you go to the shop and you buy your box of cigars, It's a fantastic experience. Couldn't recommend it more highly.
So jealous. Yeah.
When you're in one of those countries.
It's on my list. 100% on my list. Okay. So we've talked cigars up.
Nice.
Maybe let's imagine there's someone out there that's interested in possibly buying a cigar and trying it out.
Yep.
And they're going to be sober when they do it.
Yeah.
I feel like just knowing some of the